Want to know how to quiet the mind? Meditation is the answer. Listen. Have you ever wondered why Buddhist monks are peaceful, and why Buddhists meditate to quieten their mind every single day? Because when you spend all day rushing around, getting nothing done productively, you start doing too much thinking and you feel rushed and stressed. Do you feel rushed? Do you feel stress? Are you suffering from anxiety? Read Best Meditations for Anxiety. If you have anxiety, it's time to quiet the mind with meditation, and a few other tips too. Let me show you how to quiet the mind with meditation. As a meditation teacher, a lot of people ask me, how do you produce inner peace? For me, the answer to that question has always been meditation, along with a few other things like yoga and tai chi. Do you ever feel like thoughts are racing through your mind and you don't know how to become quiet and slow down? Hey, I get it. It's normal. Take a look around. 0.99% of people are blind because they're rushing through life too fast. They can't slow down inside for long enough to smell the roses. The trick is knowing how to quiet the mind and slow down when you rush through life. When you do that, you will have inner peace. Slowing down the mind is one of the keys to actually being satisfied in life. Because when we slow down, we finally appreciate the good in the world. It's something I learned the hard way. When I learned how to quiet in the mind and slow down when I was 28, I suffered a terrible experience when I was completely broke and homeless. At this time I was rushing through life, feeling stressed, not able to slow down. It was a seriously rough time. At that time my mind felt like a tornado was running through it, tearing it to cinder. I suffered extreme anxiety. Actually, I was told it was an acute stress reaction. 1. This is a condition which identifies people who are high risk for post-traumatic stress disorder after a traumatic event. At times I would have uncontrollable panic attacks. I was close to the edge. I had to make major life changes to pull myself back together again. Stopping anxiety was a challenge. And the key to success was learning how to slow down long enough to quiet my mind of thoughts and worries. So how did I slow down the mind? Meditation and mindfulness. I'll show you precisely how to slow the mind with meditation in just a moment. But first, to motivate you, let's talk about all the wonderful benefits of a slow and quiet mind. The benefits of a quiet mind. There are so many benefits of slowing down and having a quiet mind. You become more productive because you do things properly. You actually enjoy life. Your blood pressure improves. Stress is reduced. Anxiety is reduced. You stop feeling rushed. You don't basically feel like you're going gaga. You make less mistakes at work and in life in general. You're more able to keep focused. How to quiet your mind and slow down when you feel rushed all the time. Most people feel rushed all the time. But why? I wanted to know the answer to that question, so I inquired with several clever Facebook friends and conducted research. The best answer is that people who feel overly rushed are suffering from excessive time urgency. Psych Central says, excessive time urgency is a classic component of type of behavior. People who are overly time-oriented have a greater risk of cardiovascular and other health problems than more patient individuals. Excessive time urgency is not conducive to effective stress mastery, since one is constantly keeping one's body at high anxiety and stress levels. 2. People who suffer from time urgency are obsessed with schedules. Panic when they miss a deadline. Try to do too much in too little time and never stop. Feel guilty for taking breaks. Feel as though they can't stop long enough to enjoy the moment. Worry excessively. And people who have time urgency are more likely to be stressed, more likely to have high blood pressure, think too much, more likely to eat unhealthily as they try to save time in the kitchen, more likely to have a nervous breakdown, are at risk of neglecting areas of their life as they're too focused on specific things. Show to quiet your mind and slow down. So what's the solution to this time urgency? How do you stop feeling rushed all the time? How do we slow down and have quiet minds? Well, there's the obvious way. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is probably the best way how to quiet your mind and slow down. This is how I started when I was 28, when I was on the brink of total self-destruction. I slowed down by forcing myself to always be mindful. I learned that I could do everything that I needed to do and do it in a mindful way. If I was cleaning the dishes, I'd focus on cleaning the dishes and absolutely nothing else would enter my mind until those dishes were looking all sparkly clean. If I was cooking, I would do Zen cooking. If I was walking, I would actually stop and enjoy the scenery. I learned to make the most of spare time with mindful breaks. You can always be mindful. In my experience, there is literally nothing that you can't do, Mindy. This is my favorite ways to quieten the mind and slow down. But there are more ways. Let's take a look at my top 10 tips for slowing down. 12 best techniques to quiet the mind and slow down. 1. Use mindfulness to slow down. When I was a kid, I thought going fast was the cool thing to do. I wanted to race through everything. I always wanted more and more. Looking back now that I'm a little older and a little wiser, I know the error of my ways. Now I appreciate slowness. When you go slow, your breathing rate drops, your heartbeat balances, your thoughts subside, and you simply feel so much more relaxed and happy. This is the most simple but also the most important way to quiet your mind. Just stop rushing down. One of the best ways how to quieten your mind is to use some mindful habits. Point 3. Use contemplation meditation for a quiet mind. If you want to slow down the mind with meditation, try contemplative meditation. Choose your favorite spiritual book or other influential work, the Bible, the Gita, some Shakespearean poetry. Choose a section, a verse or a quote, and contemplate its meaning. This will help you to stop thinking about work. It will give you pause. Point 3. For a quiet mind, try gardening. What's the point in a life that's so rushed you don't get to enjoy anything? Stop. Take 10 minutes to connect with your 5 senses. Observe what you are experiencing via your scent, sight, hearing, touch, taste. When we rush, we lose touch of our senses. Science shows that being mindful of our senses helps to reduce stress and improves life satisfaction. One way to get in touch with your senses is to take up gardening. The beautiful greenery, the scents of the flowers, and the fresh air are all help us slow down. A particularly good exercise is to create a Zen garden. Point 4. Use sound healing meditation for a quiet mind. Sound healing meditation is a wonderful way of slowing down. Try listening to some beautiful music or spiritual chants, and meditate on the sound. Listening to beautiful audio will quiet your thoughts and help your mind slow down. 5. Like Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. You know that scene in The Karate Kid when Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel-san to wash the car by wax on, wax off. That scene is so much more poignant than I realized when I first saw the movie as a kid. Performing a slow task makes you more mindful. And when we are mindful, consciously living in the moment, we are more relaxed and happier. One strategy is to do chores. Mindy, did you know, chores are a very important part of a Buddhist monk's life? Monks use chores as meditative practices to slow down the mind and increases consciousness. Buddhists have a practice called soji. It's a meditative time in which they clean up. They clean up without a desire to finish. The purpose of the cleaning is in the cleaning itself, too. Slow, meaningful work quiets the mind and promotes inner peace. That's why Tai Chi is so beneficial. This is the best type of movement meditation to slow the mind. Tai Chi is all about simple and slow exercises. It's almost the opposite of exercise actually. Most exercise elevates your heart rate. Tai Chi slows you down and relaxes your mind. Another great exercise to get into is Aikido. Aikido is a peaceful martial art that is about stopping an enemy without hurting them. It's a meditative martial art that teaches the mind to be peaceful and to slow down. Point 6. For a peaceful, quiet mind, stop imagining hell. How many times have you imagined horrible things that never actually happened? That's the basis of anxiety, isn't it? You think something awful is going to happen, but it's only in your mind. We all do that. Even positivity warriors do that, if they're honest. Human evolution has taught us to notice possible dangers before possible opportunities. That stems from the times when we were cavemen, when we had to think that shadow on the wall could be a T-Rex, but we don't live with T-Rexes anymore. And we don't need fear like we did millions of years ago. So it is a good idea to use some techniques to stop fear. Every time you think something awful is going to happen, check in with reality. Is this real? Ask yourself. 9 times out of 10 your anxiety will be 99% imagined. Even when there is a justifiable reason for being anxious, you'll imagine the situation 100 times worse than it really is. Thank you. Today we know how to stop negative thoughts. Point 7. To stop feeling rushed all the time, stop self-criticizing. You don't need Simon Cowell living in your head. Simon Cowell. Yeah, that guy from the Idol shows who tells everyone they're rubbish. He's like a reflection of a judgmental and self-critical mind. You don't need Simon Cowell living in your head. Next time Simon Cowell is sitting in your head, by which I mean, the next time you're being overly self-critical, say, "Oi, Cowell, no," or just remind yourself to stop being nasty to yourself. Speak to yourself kindly, lovingly, the way you would speak to your best friends. Practicing loving-kindness meditation will help. Point 8. A relaxing way to quiet your mind is to appreciate nature. Our minds have been taught that when we lie down it's time to relax. So when you do lay down, your brain tries to produce relaxing energy. Sometimes it fails, which is why we lie in bed stressing. Most of the time it succeeds. When we lie down we relax. Try lying down beneath a blue sky and gazing up at the clouds. Nature spreads its beauty for a reason. And I like to think that nature has my back. BCTT tweet equals, I like to think nature says to me, you're stressed. Here's a beautiful cloud for you to look at so you relax. Username equals T_D_ meditation. I've shared some great tips on Mindy lying down in my guide to getting to sleep. Point 9. Take a long walk to quiet your mind. Walk. Period. Hippocrates said, walking is man's best medicine. It is hard to argue. Get out for a lovely long walk. Not on a treadmill. In the beauty of nature. 10. Try 9-round breathing meditation for a quiet mind. 9-round breathing is an ancient Buddhist meditation technique that quickly quiets the mind. This is a very similar technique to alternative nostril breathing. Research shows that 20 minutes spent Mindy breathing will reduce negative thinking and boost relaxation. 11. Tibetan singing bowls and meditative instruments help the mind slow down. You have probably tried meditating. But have you tried meditating on a Tibetan singing bowl? Tibetan singing bowls are Buddhist instruments that are an aid in meditation. These bowls create specific frequencies that make the mind enter a relaxing state of theta brainwaves. These are the brainwaves the brain produces when we are in a deep state of relaxation. 20 minutes spent listening to singing bowl has been shown to put the brain in this state. Point 12. Mudras.